Swaziland, a landlocked African nation, is a name that is unfamiliar to many people in Taiwan, even though the two countries established diplomatic ties more than 40 years ago. Swaziland has the nickname the Switzerland of Africa, but there are serious problems with hunger, poverty, and disease in the country that require foreign aid to address.
More than 10,000 kilometers from Taiwan is the African nation of Swaziland. The Kingdom of Swaziland is mostly surrounded by South Africa. It also has a population of over 1 million and has the nickname the Switzerland of Africa. The climate is mild, the land is hilly, and as spring turns into summer, the country is covered in green. It looks like a painting, but behind this beauty is a cruel reality. Nine-year-old Piwa smiles happily as he plays with his friend on a swing. But he looked shorter and skinnier than most children his age. A test last year showed that he has AIDS. His mother had AIDS, and so he does too. Still, he has dreams for his future. He wants to become a nurse.
Those who are on HIV, them every month they have to go to be checked by the doctor. Yeah, we have to find transport for them to take them to Mbabane every month.
In Swaziland, there are nearly 20,000 children living with AIDS like Piwa. 27.7% of the population, or on average 1 in 4 adults, are living with AIDS, making Swaziland one of the countries with the highest rate of AIDS in the world. Several thousand people die of the disease every year.
2012年的时候刚来的时候，他这个国家一年死亡9000个病人，因为艾滋病。这个国家那个时候才100万人口。
To deal with the difficult issue of AIDS, Swaziland has run a non-stop health education program and placed free condoms in public restrooms to help prevent the spread of the disease. The Taiwanese medical team in the country has also thrown itself into prevention and humanitarian aid.
它的肺结核的问题，当然就是说，因为有艾滋病，免疫功能低，所以容易感染。以后会有问题，就是怎么样，抗药性肺结核。抗药性肺结核更可怕，比艾滋病更可怕。抗药性肺结核，你医护人员感染了抗药性肺结核，也是没有药医啊，要经过2年、1年半的治疗。
AIDS and tuberculosis have become Swaziland's biggest killers. In Swaziland, a country with few medical resources and a poor economy, this simply piles onto the country's woes, becoming a dark force of destruction.
Swaziland is Southern Africa's only absolute monarchy. The current ruler, King Mswati III, was once ranked by Forbes magazine as the world's 50th wealthiest monarch. But over 63% of Swaziland's population lives below the poverty line with a daily income of less than $1.25. The gap between urban and rural areas is huge, and most people have a hard time meeting basic needs.
This is the children's home run by the Taiwan Fund for Children and Families in Swaziland. This house, built of stone and cow dung, is the place where this family of 4 shelters from the wind and rain. The mother is disabled and unable to work, and she and the children spend their days eating some meals and having to skip others.
In terms
of kuya etibhedlela.
The problems of poverty and hunger are visible everywhere you go in Swazi villages. These dark spaces, without any windows, are the only places villagers have to stay. They eat and they sleep here. The men leave without caring for their children, leaving the women to shoulder the burden of meeting their families' needs.
Many
Swazi people know the pain of falling into long-term poverty. King Mswati III, Swaziland's absolute ruler, was once ranked among Forbes magazine's 15 wealthiest monarchs, but more than 63% of Swaziland's population lives below the poverty line, with daily incomes below $1.25 US. The unemployment rate is as high as 40%. Swaziland relies on imports for all of its resources. This leaves people in a bind, with low incomes and high prices. The Taiwan Fund for Children and Families has seen this problem and reached out to poor households in the hopes of helping them one by one.
We are spending a lot of money on education. Most of our budget goes to schools, education and health. So all these are programs and efforts to try and bridge the gap and assist people. If we give them education, we believe that people can then think for themselves and stand for themselves.
There is support for those receiving a compulsory education in Swaziland up to middle school. But for those who want to continue their studies, there is a problem.
The only problem is the secondary and the high school, where they pay. The school fees at the secondary is about 5,000 per year. So parents, they cannot afford to pay that amount.
The Swazi government believes that as long as all children go to school, it will be possible to improve people's standards of living through academic and skill-based education. But in reality, without an economic base, there is no way for children to continue their studies. Swaziland's people face a long road to rising out of poverty.
Despite poverty and hunger, Swaziland has become a haven for many outsiders. Its refugee camps house many who have fled from the continent's civil wars and ethnic conflicts. While Swaziland's economy is not good, over 30 people a month on average flee to these camps, leaving their homes in search of safety and a peaceful life.
A group of children sings and dances excitedly for the camera. They all sing in the same language, but they all come from different countries, living in great hardship together in Swazi refugee camps. 14-year-old Mberwa is preparing dinner with his mother. He comes from Congo, but fled to Swaziland with his parents and siblings 6 years ago because of a civil war. They came here just to save their own lives.
The difference is, you see here, we are free, but in Congo, no, it's not good. It's war, you see, that's because we ran from there to here. So this place, it's like we are free.
Akim, who has just turned 13, comes from Burundi. His parents were both killed by gunfire during fighting in his hometown. Depending on one another, Akim and his older brother fled. They thought they'd found a safe place, but what they hadn't expected was that it is difficult to live together with people from other countries.
Someday, they are not good for us.
Because it's a different country?
No, not about that. They said that we don't have parents.
So you're missing your parents?
Yeah, yes. I miss my parents. My parents, they don't even, I never see his face.
In this small international circle, there has been discrimination, bullying, and even conflict. There are more than 300 people in this refugee camp set up by the UN in Swaziland. Most of the refugees here come from Somalia, Congo, Burundi, and Rwanda. Fighting and ethnic conflict have forced these people to leave their homes. While Swaziland's economy is not good, the country is relatively stable, and there were once many Syrian refugees who fled all the way here in search of safety.
They say the job will come second. The first thing which is very important to them is the peace. You find that when a person arrives, he doesn't have clothes, he doesn't have anything. So when he arrives here, we need to organize clothes for this person. This person doesn't have something to sleep, which is quality blankets.
In an average month, more than 30 people flee to Swaziland's refugee camps. But as refugee numbers continue to increase, expanding living space, providing food, and getting funding for water and electricity have all become problems. In order to meet these challenges, the camp's directors need to work hard at applying for assistance from the Swazi government while relying on foreign donations. The Taiwan Fund for Children and Families has lent a helping hand, providing supplies and funding to help refugees get a stable start for a new life.